Namaste and welcome to Sujith Talks. My name is Sujith Billa, registered migration agent here in Melbourne. This video is about the employer-sponsored visa numbers. 482 visa I'm talking about, which was a replacement for 457, although it's not exactly like 457. So 482 have some numbers from Disclosure Logs 2020, from past few financial years, and also till July this year 2020. So I've got numbers during coronavirus as well. Shocking figures if you see how 482 was processed and how many were granted for applications made outside Australia. So there's a major difference between applications made in Australia to that of outside Australia normally as well, and during coronavirus the difference is more, and you could go as low as 20 for 482 grants in one of the months during coronavirus. So basically we saw the difference from April and we are still seeing the difference. So in one of the months it was just 20 primary applicants granted under 482. I also have some information about how ICT occupations did with 482 overall, and also accredited sponsors for ICT occupation group 2613. So these sponsors have got special priority while processing the 482 applications. They can get as soon as 5 business days 482 applications can be processed if you're going with an accredited sponsor. So it's good to know who those sponsors are, and that gives you an idea who to reach out to, just in case you're looking at employer-sponsored visas in these unprecedented times. If you're those who are really after points-tested visas such as 189 and 190, you should always know that there is another way for skilled migration, which is the employer-sponsored visas. But the challenge is to find an employer when you're overseas. It's relatively easier if you're in Australia to find an employer than when you're outside Australia. First of all, you should know who to reach out to. My advice would always be to reach out directly to the employer instead of going through a recruitment consultant, because if you contact directly, you would at least get a response whether they have that requirement or not, and explore their websites as well, what they are into and whether that is fitting your profile and whether they are sponsoring any employers from overseas. That said, now in these unprecedented times, there is a view from some senior agents that the department could actually favor more employer-sponsored visas than the points-tested visas, because for employer-sponsored visas, there is an employer, and when the applicant comes here during a recession, now that we have in Australia, at least they have a job. But if they are coming on a points-tested visa like 189 and 190, obviously they wouldn't have an employer. They have to find employment by themselves, and it's not that easy when there is a recession to find a job. So let's get into those documents that I found on Disclosure Logs 2020. Visa applications granted for 482 with grant date between 1st Feb 2020 and 11th August 2020, where client location is outside Australia and the applicant type is primary, so only the primary applicants grants this is. In Feb we saw 1537, and in August till 11th of August it's just 62. The lowest number is in May with just 20, and April is almost the same with 21, and June is not that great with 66. Visa applications granted for 482 for financial years 2016-17 to 31st of Jan 2020. As you can see, in 16-17 it did not open its account, and then in 17-18 when it was first proposed in 17. So in 17-18 financial year, you got primary applicants under medium term stream 1751, grants short term 728. In the next financial year 18-19, 21,675 for medium term, 10,988 for short term. In total, 17, 18, 5,570, 18, 19, 66,682. So 1920 to 31st of Jan 2020, 13,028 for medium term, 8,115 for short term, and in total 42,206. Now, visa applications granted for subclass 482 for financial year 2016-17 to 31st of Jan 2020 by nomination, nominated occupation. So 482 primary applicants, looking at occupations: corporate general manager 1018, you got mixed crop and livestock farmer 13, sales and marketing manager 992, engineering manager 628, $748 for ICT project manager, which has done very badly in points tested migration. ICT project manager here, it got 748. Cafe or restaurant manager 826. Accountant general 1020. So these are the documents released by department under Freedom of Information Act. You can look it up on the department's website. External auditor 651 to 175. Recruitment consultant 756. Management consultant 1730. Then we got marketing specialist 1167. 503 for mechanical engineer. 445 for engineering professionals not elsewhere classified, and 1569 for university lecturer. Resident medical officer 1987. Okay, coming to ICT, business analyst got 2793, while systems analyst got 727, multimedia specialist 125, web developer 39, analyst programmer 1274, developer programmer 2656, software engineer 2980, software tester 487, software and applications programmers not elsewhere classified 77, database administrator 83, ICT security specialist 248, systems administrator 270, computer network and systems engineer 497, network administrator 124, network analyst is 44, quality assurance engineer is 37, support engineer is 596, systems test engineer is 766, support and test engineers not elsewhere classified is 15. Mechanical engineering technician 594, 731 for motor mechanic, 650 for diesel motor mechanic. Carpenter got 539. Chef and cook got 1367 and 1162 respectively. So in total, what we got is 114,458. The next document is about accredited sponsors as of 3rd June 2020. These accredited sponsors will have priority processing. So when you go with a sponsor like that, your application would be processed quite fast, and nomination applications could be finalized in approximately 5 business days in most cases. And if you're granted, if your sponsor was granted accredited status, it will be there for 5 years. Now, looking at some of those sponsors for 2613 unit group, how they got primary visa grants by sponsor between 1st Jan 2017 and 31st May 2020 in both in temporary 482 you got medium term stream, and it's also talking about 186 direct entry stream. So total count is 7,461, and you can look it up on the department's website, and I would strongly recommend you to go and look at this list in detail so that you know who are considered as accredited sponsors or doing for ICT occupations, so that you can reach out to them directly and see if there is an opportunity in future. Now, the other document I have is talking about visa nominations lodged for 482 by month between 31st of Jan 2019 last year and 31st of March 2020 this year. So in 14 months. So in medium term, you can see by 31st of Jan 2019, you got 2036, and next few months, in fact, all the months, you got over 2000, not less than 2000. And short term, 31st of Jan 2019, you got 1192, and in Feb 1185, and again this trend is different, all in 1300s, 1400s, 1500s, 1100s as well. So not reached 2000, didn't go below 1000. In total, you can see the number is 58,262 482. Now grants between months April 2020 and 15th of July 2020, with client location both in Australia and outside Australia. 482 grants we're talking about. Let's look at the month of April. So they're giving you by dates as well. On 2nd of April, 5 were granted. On 6th of April, 8. And then 15th of April, 46. And 30th of April, 97. Perhaps that's the highest in a month. In total, 417 you got. This is both inside and outside Australia applications made. Looking at May 2020, 76 on 1st May, 98 on 5th May, and 8 on 28th May. Total is 510. May. June, 1st June 17, 18th June 39, you got 45 on 19th June, and in total 835 for June. July, 15 days we got data. 1st July is 130, 15th July is 157, and in total for 15 days 1648. So in total you got 482. In that prescribed period, 3410. Now in the same prescribed period, client location in Australia, you'll see in April, 14th April you got 21, 30th April you got 95, in total 333. Looking at June, 659, and July 15 days 1332, in total 2760. Outside Australia numbers we got in April is 84, in May is 74, And in June is 176. In July, 15 days, 316. In total, 650. For a particular occupation, metal fabricator with a nominated salary range 60,000 to 69,999. The number of visa application for subclass 482 nominations approved for activity month 31st of October 2019 are 19. So the number is 19. If you're after immigration advice, simply go to my website sujithtalks.com, schedule a phone or a video consultation session. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to Sujith Talks on YouTube for more pristine information about Australian immigration, and click on the bell icon to get notified. Also, like my Facebook page, Sujith Talks.